Welcome to Football with Cheese. So I recently did some combine videos. So if you haven't checked those out, I'll link two of them in boxes up here at the end of the video. So make sure you are subscribed so you never miss one. And turn on that bell for notifications. So we're going to talk about around the league stuff, non-draft stuff in today's video. Deebo Samuel was traded from the 49ers to Washington, the wide receiver, which was not a total surprise. They were shopping him. He wanted out. Washington makes sense. For a fifth-round pick, a lot of people were surprised, that's all. But here's the thing. Washington takes on all the money, and that's the best they could have gotten. Or they would have gotten more. The 49ers were an old team last year, and it showed. They got hurt. The roster is just not what it used to be when they were in the Super Bowl last year. I think it's a good move. Do a little retool. It's not a rebuild. It's like a retool. Maybe take a year or two, get younger, build around Brock Purdy, their young quarterback. So, makes sense from their end. And Deebo Samuel, the rumor was he's had some conditioning issues. And we know he's got some attitude issues. We've heard those rumors too. So I think the 49ers and Deebo Samuel were ready for a divorce. I think it was just time to move on. He's still a good player. He's not a great player. He's still a really good player, though. So from Washington's perspective, he's a good fit for their offense. They have Terry McLaurin, who's a great receiver. Diami Brown, the other receiver, really came on in the playoffs. You put Deebo in the slot. You have Zach Ertz. You have a young tight end in Ben Sinnott, who was a second-round pick last year, who they like a lot. Just get some offensive line. Get some offensive line help. They have a ton of cap room. One of the reasons why they were able to make this move, they can take on the rest of Deebo's contract. But they need at least 2, maybe 3 stars in the offensive line. Fix the offensive line. That offense could be the best in the NFL with Jaden Daniels as the quarterback. So it makes sense. The rumor is the Texans were in on it too. I'm sure more teams were in on it. But the Texans either didn't offer a high enough pick, or they wanted the 49ers to eat some of the money. That's probably why they only got a 5th-round pick, because Washington was willing to eat the money and save the Niners on their salary cap. Good fit for Deebo. I'm sure he'll be happy to play in that offense. I mean, Washington was one game away from the Super Bowl last year. So, in other news, the rumor is Aaron Rodgers might go to the Giants, which might make sense. But I don't think it's a great fit, and here's why. First of all, the Giants may draft a quarterback. Aaron is not going to be a bridge quarterback. I know Aaron, not personally, but I know him. He is going to play. So he would want assurances from the Giants that they're not going to take a quarterback high, that he would start the whole year. I don't know if the Giants can give him that. I think Malik Neighbors would love it. I think it'd be good for Malik Neighbors, not necessarily for the Giants, because Neighbors, if you don't know Aaron Rodgers, what he likes to do, he did this when he had Jordy Nelson. He did it when he had Davante Adams. He looks for the number one receiver first, almost every play. And if that receiver's covered, he doesn't like the matchup or whatever, then he looks off to other players, other receivers. That's how he's always done it. So Malik Neighbors, unquestionable number one receiver for the Giants. He'd have a big fantasy year with Aaron. And Davante Adams could go to the Giants too. Some people say, I don't think that's a fit with Neighbors, because they both are going to want to be the guy. So I don't think that's a fit. The Giants, here's what the Giants should do. Okay? The Giants are in a really tough division. The other 2 teams, besides Dallas, made the NFC title game. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. Their roster is not nearly as good as any other teams in the division, including Dallas. So even with Aaron Rodgers, do you really want to win 7, 8 games and pick 12th, 13th, 14th? I don't. Why not take a year, start someone like Tommy DeVito, be terrible, pick in the top 5, maybe pick first, maybe you get Arch Manning. Yes, Peyton Eli's nephew might come out. He's a quarterback at Texas. He might stay. He doesn't need the money. He's a Manning. But he might come out and go pro. You end up with the first pick, you get Arch Manning. You set your franchise up probably for the next 15 years. So that's what the Giants should do, but I don't see them doing that. Because Joe Schoen, the GM, pretty much has to win. He had a terrible offseason last year. Good draft, but terrible offseason. If you watched Hard Knocks offseason, it did not go well for him, letting Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney walk. Both were terrific for their teams. Barkley just signed with the Eagles and won a Super Bowl for their division rival. So he's got to win. If he wins like 3 or 4 games, he will be fired. A lot of people, a lot of Giants fans wanted him fired this year. But what saved him, I think, was the draft. And the Mara family, they like to be patient. So he might go after Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets are supposedly shopping Davante Adams. I think they're going to have to release him because I just don't see any team giving draft compensation and taking on that contract because he's got a really big contract. So I think they're going to have to release him. They gave the Raiders a 3rd round pick. Not a good move for the Jets. The Jets just had a really bad season and off season. So we'll see what happens with them. We'll do a whole video about where they should go in the future when we get closer to the draft. Couple more things. T. Higgins got the franchise tag. Not a surprise. The Bengals have a reputation for being cheap with contracts. And there was a rumor out that they wanted T. Higgins back at their price, which makes sense. You don't want to overpay anyone, but at the same time, Burrow wants him back, and Jamar Chase wants him back. He makes Jamar Chase better by being on their side. It's probably one of the best 1-2 duos at wide receiver in the league. I would listen to offers for sure if you get blown away. But the thing is, you're not getting a 1st round pick for T. Higgins because the team that's trading for him would also have to pay him. So you're giving up draft compensation, a 1st round pick, and using all that money in your salary cap for a receiver. So I don't think they get much for him if they shop him. They're better off just trying to get a long-term deal. We'll see if it happens. Another player in this franchise is Trey Smith, the guard for the Chiefs. I think it was a mild surprise. I really thought they wouldn't do that. I thought they were going to let him go. You can find starting guards in the middle rounds. Trey Smith's a good player. He's not an elite player. He's just good. Good at pass blocking, good at run blocking. And he's going to get paid if he's not franchised by somebody. But $20 million a year for a guard, that's a lot to me. Here's why I think the Chiefs did this. They need to upgrade left tackle and right tackle. If they let Trey Smith walk, they have to upgrade right guard too. They need 3 new starters on the offensive line. So that is probably why they kept him. They'll probably have to address offensive tackle in the draft. It's a weak offensive tackle class. We'll see how that goes. All right. So if you've not seen my last 2 videos, I am doing a live stream tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, March 4th. It's with the Sports Truth podcast featuring 643 and Out Guys. I will link it in the description. So make sure you save that, bookmark it, set the alarm to your phone so you don't miss it. Like I said, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I'm not sure what time in Canada. I don't know the Canadian time zones. So if my friend BC Van Dweller, my friend Raid, friend Hankette, I'm not sure what time will be for you guys. By the way, Raid claims that in Canada, for pizza, they use maple syrup instead of tomato sauce. Hankette denies it. I don't know who to believe. So what do you think? In Canada, do they put maple syrup on everything? Let me know in the comments. And where do you think Aaron Rodgers should go? Should he just retire? What team do you think's a better fit? I personally think Pittsburgh is the best fit for him. And you can bring over Davante Adams with him. We'll see. So make sure you are subscribed. Turn notifications. Like I said, the podcast information will be in the description down at the bottom. So whatever time zone in, make sure you join and chat up. There'll be a chat as well. We're talking everything combined. It'll be about 30 minutes long. Share this video with anyone who loves football so we can continue to grow the channel. Check out these combine videos like I mentioned earlier. And I'll see you in the next one.